Good day, friends. You are welcome to my channel today. I am Jansui Ebeago by name. Today I will be discussing on anatomy and specifically the gross anatomy of the nasal cavity. In my previous video, I discussed on the roof of the nasal cavity, the medial wall of the nasal cavity, the floor of the nasal cavity. But today, I will be discussing on the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. Remember, I said the lateral wall of the nasal cavity is the most important wall. Why? This is because there are presence of specialized structures in the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. If you look at the lateral wall of the nasal cavity, you are going to see some louvers-like projection. These louvers-like projections are what we refer to as conchae. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 conchae. Take note of that. One of them is called concha, but together you call them conchae. So remember, conchae. These are the louvers-like projections that you are going to see in the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. What is the function of this conchae? The conchae helps to bring about turbulence of air that enters into the nasal cavity. It helps to increase the surface area of the nasal cavity, and it helps to also increase the amount of time the air spends in the nasal cavity. As you can see from the diagram, there are 3 nasal conchae. Number 1, we have the superior nasal conchae. Number 2, we have the middle nasal concha, and then number 3, the inferior nasal concha. So superior nasal concha, middle nasal concha, inferior nasal concha. These are the 3 conchae that you are going to see in the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. So people can just call these superior concha, middle concha, inferior concha. Both are very correct. Another important structure you are going to see in the lateral wall of the nasal cavity, how to refer to as recesses or meatus. What are meatus? Meatus are spaces that you will see between these concha, but they are related to the concha. They are depressions, they are space where things open into. So if structures, if anything want to enter into the nose, it drains into these recesses or these meatus. There are 4 recesses or meatus in the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. The first is this structure which you can see here, which we refer to as the sphenoethmoidal recess. Sphenoethmoidal recess. Number 2, you can see the second one here, which we refer to as the superior nasal meatus. The other, middle nasal meatus. And the last, inferior nasal meatus. I will explain these 3 for you to understand very well. But let me just explain the 4. The sphenoethmoidal recess is one of the recesses you see, one of the depression, one of the passageway you see in the nasal cavity. Remember, this is the superior concha. The sphenoethmoidal recess is superior and posterior to the superior concha. Take note of that point. Sphenoethmoidal recess is superior and posterior to the superior concha. The superior nasal meatus is between the superior and the middle nasal conchae. The middle nasal meatus is between the middle and inferior nasal conchae. And the inferior nasal meatus is inferior to the inferior concha. And it is between the inferior concha and the floor of the nasal cavity. is the floor of the nasal cavity. So remember these points. I go once more. How many nasal conchae are you going to see? There are 3 nasal conchae. The superior concha, the middle concha, and the inferior concha. But how many meatus are you going to see? There are 4 meatus. Number 1, sphenoethmoidal recess, which is superior and posterior to the superior concha. Middle, that the superior nasal meatus now is found between the superior concha and the middle concha. Middle nasal meatus between the middle concha and the inferior concha. Then inferior nasal meatus inferior to the inferior concha, or between the inferior concha and the floor of the nasal cavity. Very important points to note. They are possible exam questions. Remember, of all these 3 conchae we mentioned, the largest, the longest is what we refer to as the inferior nasal conchae. As you can see in the diagram, the inferior is the largest. These projections, which are called the conchae, are formed